Good. Well, all right. So I don't know that we're going to have any other attendees, so I'll call to order. Would you like me to read the sunshine document?
Yes, but I apologize.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public meetings may be held in person or by means of communication equipment to include streaming services and other online meeting platforms. Due to the COVID-19 situation, the Borough of Fairhaven's municipal facilities are closed to the public. This meeting is being presented through the Zoom meeting platform and being broadcast from Borough Hall, 748 River Road, Fairhaven, New Jersey. Public participation for this July 14th, 2021 Shade Tree Commission meeting is available by call-in phone number or through web conference Zoom. Members of the public will be on mute until the portion for public questions, comments, which will be announced. At that time, the public has the opportunity to question, comment by phone or through Zoom by the raise hand button and will be called on at the appropriate time. Notice of this meeting was included in the schedule of meetings sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, the Hub, and the Star Ledger on January 28th, 2021, posted on the Borough website, the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. With adequate notice having been given, the Shade Tree Commission Secretary is directed to include the statement in the minutes of this meeting. Chris, you want me to do roll call for us?
Sure. McCabe.
Here.
Becker. D'Angelo. Larson present. Paolo.
Present.
Sullivan. Present. Bagani.
Present.
Present. Reed. Nope. Okay.
And no Councilwoman Neff either, huh?
I don't see her there. She did respond to the email, said she was going to be there.
Yeah. Is she possibly in the queue? Hold on. How do we see the attendees? Participants.
There is one attendee, Susan O'Brien.
Ah, okay. All right. We'll get to that shortly. Get to that at the appropriate time. All right. Now we'd like to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty,
Liberty,
and justice
justice
for all. Excellent. I saw the prior meeting minutes. That was the May meeting. Obviously, June we had no quorum, so we have no minutes from that meeting. I took a look; they look perfect to me. So I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. All right, good. Moving on. With the weather here tonight, I'll try to whip through this, but we definitely have some good updates this week. Salem white oak seedling. It's on my porch, remains on my porch, growing. Actually, it's kind of fun to watch. Currently on the calendar for the August 3rd rec meeting. I'm going to go and introduce the concept to DJ Breckenridge and the rec crew that we are going to need to decide on a permanent home for this tree that may be 100 feet tall and 100 feet wide at some point. That, however, is a longer term project. We need like a temporary home for like 10 years. And Bill Brooks is working on that with the DPW. There's probably an opportunity to get one of these big black, I can't remember how many gallon containers that you'd lift with a forklift, but they're probably like 3 feet by 3 feet, and fill it with dirt and allow it to grow for 5 years, and then you can move it with a forklift eventually. That's going to be probably in the natural area. And then August 3rd with the rec committee, hopefully we'll come to some sort of initial consensus on where it might go in one of the public spaces, probably Fairhaven Fields, just east of the playground in the little ditch area. Bill told me there was an old hickory tree that came out of there, so that's what we're targeting. Anybody have any questions, comments on that?
How big is it now, and how long before it becomes
It's
unmanageable?
Well, it is very manageable right now. It's like 1.5 feet tall in a pot on my porch. It was a true seedling from the forestry division, the forestry nursery, it came without, there's no dirt on the roots, and it was probably, it was probably a foot at the time. But, in 3 or 4 months, it's grown a little bit. And, I'm talking to it, I'm trying to give it some tender love and care,
What
no.
about like forefront,
we got a lot-
like a business like that, maybe?
I'm sorry, say that again, Chris.
What about like Forefront's business, like one of the businesses that has, do they have like a big atrium where they could, you know what I mean? Where we could kind of have it indoors and kept taken care of with different indoor conditions so that it has a good chance of maintaining its it's staying
Yeah.
alive for a few years until it becomes bigger.
No, that's fair. That's a great suggestion. I hadn't really considered that. I didn't think we would have any, atrium space available to us. But I'm open to any suggestion. It just because it can't stay on my porch, So I think Bill is working with DPW initially, and I'll raise that idea to him as well.
My only question is who's responsible for maintaining the tree once it's in someone's private property?
Right. Because ultimately it's going to be a public tree, but if a private entity wanted to kind of shepherd it through the next 5 years, we would need to have some sort of understanding on maintenance,
I wonder if the Garden Club of Fairhaven would be interested.
That's a great suggestion too.
That is a good idea.
I'll follow up with Brooks on those 2 ideas. Any other questions or comments on Salem White Oak seedling? Councilwoman Neff, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Sorry I don't have video today.
No problem. Okay, moving on. Quons cherry trees, no real update. The letter is being written. We're just going to kind of put it on record what the Shade Tree Commission thinks can be done to better the lives of the Quons cherries on Fairhaven Road. Any questions about that?
No.
All right, moving on to the tree giveaway initiative. Very excited that we got this off the ground. We do have a winner. There were 5 total submissions, 4 of which all received votes from the voting members of the Shade Tree Commission. And the winning destination is the house and block on Hance Road. With the majority of the votes. And I think I took a look at it. I think it's a great selection. I think we'll contact the owner and we'll go set some time with Bill Brooks. Now we have to do our, right tree, right place. I want to go and, make sure that, if it's an ornamental suggestion from Bill, let's suggest a couple of ornamentals. If it's a big tree, canopy tree, let's get a couple suggestions. I noticed that some of those newer houses in that same area also recently added, I believe they're pin oaks. So those would be canopy trees. So I think the effort and the suggestion by the submitter was to try to rebuild the canopy in the area. And it seems like some of those newly built houses are trying to do that as well. So I think we'll try to add one more. But we'll go. I think the next thing is that I'll meet with Brooks at the property and contact the winner, of course. Christy, do you want to just let the Hance Road submission know that they were voted the winner by the commission?
Of course, and that you'll be in touch?
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind just connecting me them via email or something like that.
Sure.
Thank you. Awesome. But important to add, I think, like I said, 4 out of the 5 did all receive votes. So they're all great submissions from the town. So I think we, as our test case, let's think about how we can modify this next year, whether it's, first place, second place, or what have you. But we got a little time. Questions, comments, concerns on the tree giveaway initiative? Moving on, green initiative. Ms. Reed is not available today. I did speak with her. She didn't have any real updates on that side of things. Social media. Leah, do you have anything you want to add?
We now have 54 followers on Instagram. I'm creating some more graphics and am hungry for content. So if any of our fellow, my fellow commission folk have any suggestions or things that they would like to see. I know, Dave, you've suggested a couple things. I did one graphic based on what we discussed.
Which one was
and
that?
we talked about protecting your root structure. So I did a graphic based on what is where the root structure is in relation to the tree and how the size is in line with its canopy. And then I figured I'd do another one with an actual photo of what I did actually at my own house, trying to protect the tree.
I think it's great. I think the example at your house is a fantastic visual on the best way to protect a tree during construction. I don't know if you guys have seen that at the Begani house, that there's very wide fence, structure built around a nice feature tree in her front yard, and I think it's a really good example. So yeah, the other thing I would suggest is I think that we mentioned this before, but the ivy and the invasives that look beautiful growing up trees is actually quite bad for trees, and so I think I would venture a guess that not many people know that. I admit that I did not know that until I had somebody told me, and so but it really does it strains the entire system around the tree. It sucks up a lot of the water, et cetera, et cetera. So there's I think that would be a good one to highlight as well, if we can think of a graphic for that.
I will gladly do that.
54 follows, fantastic. That's awesome. One suggestion on the ivy thing, actually, an after photo you might get from, if you go down Hance Road toward north of River Road, on the left and the right, there are a couple large old trees that clearly had their ivy trimmed because it's about 3 or 4 feet off the ground. There's this line, and above that is all this dead ivy that's clearly not a tree anymore. But it shows you what somebody has done in the past in order to protect the tree, and there's no more ivy on it. I think that might be a good before and after kind of photo montage.
All right, great.
Thank you. Anybody else have any suggestions on social media content?
For the record, what is your handle in your
oh yes
platform?
It is Fairhaven Shade Tree Commission, all one word.
On Instagram or Facebook or both?
It's on both.
Fairhaven Shade Tree Commission. Thank you.
I'll have my dog follow it since he's more active on there than I am. So he has more followers than me too, apparently, according to my daughter.
Well, every journey starts with a single step. So we're doing a great job. Well done, Leah. Arbor Day poster contest results. I believe we announced this at the last meeting, but I just on the agenda that's posted are the names of the 2 winners, one from 2020 and one from 2021. So congrats to Olivia and Cricket. Jill's not here regarding the tree risk management program. What that's evolving towards, and this is kind of exciting, we need a updated tree inventory. We have a database of trees that were cut down, and trees that were suggested that the town takes a look at them. Some of them are cut down, some of them are replaced, and there's just kind of a little bit of a spreadsheet history. If you look at Red Bank's website, the town website, and you go to the Shade Tree Commission page, they have an online tree inventory. It's really slick, and what that actually is free software from the state. So Bill Brooks is in receipt of the free software. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to tap into the volunteer community around here. There is a high school student who needs, volunteer credits for, I believe, Honor Society. And that student is going to organize, starting in, I believe, in Sickles Park. McCarter Park across from the Sickles School. Just going to listen to Bill Brooks talk about the top 4 or 5 things you need to note when you're doing a tree inventory, and start there. And we'll learn as we go, but we've got the software, and we've got free labor. And I think that an online database of trees in public places and street trees will be, I think something we can build on and iterate on over the life of the inventory. So I think that's a really good modern solution for a tree inventory.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Is
any
there
other-
going to be, is he also going to delineate what type of tree he's seeing? Like not only the number of trees, but also the type?
Yep. Yeah. We're gonna do our best to make it as official, and as robust as possible. Whether that's, size, age, type of tree, all these things I think are part of the software. Like I said, take a look at Red Bank's. It's very obvious. You click into their departments and then shade tree, and then there's a tree inventory link right there, and it's a map, and you can click on each individually noted tree, and I'll tell you, sweet gum, 55 years old, it gives you the data. It's pretty cool. So hopefully we can get something similar to that. Any questions? Moving on, buttonwood replanting. Obviously that's an ongoing project. That was also one of the suggestions for the tree giveaway contest. That particular submission suggested finishing the planting of buttonwoods down the hill from, like, if the buttonwoods, they go up the hill up to where the road bends, and then it goes back down to Fairhaven Road. The driveway back in the day to the McCarter estate didn't actually make that bend. You could see where the trees continue on through the property that's at the top of the hill in a straight line up from the pond. But if you follow the road, there's an opportunity maybe to put buttonwoods down that, what is that, quarter-mile stretch from the top of the hill down to the road. And that was one of the suggestions. I don't know if we have the budget for something like that, but it's food for thought, I think, as we continue to think about how we can replant buttonwood. Any questions or comments? All right. Sorry, was there a question?
I wonder how the folks that live on that part of Buttonwood feel about it.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I think the submission came from one of the people that live there. So, maybe it's one person or maybe it's all of them. I don't know.
Okay.
But like I said, it's a bigger kind of town initiative. I just wanted to kind of make mention of it here because I think buttonwood replanting is going to be high profile at a certain point. So, but the status is Bill Brooks still looking for the right nursery with the right trees.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Administrative. We have a 5-year plan, and we are on track for completing CEUs. We'll probably need to attend something in the fall in order to kind of round out get the numbers up to fully complete. But that's, we're in progress after attending some of the forestry stuff this summer. Website page with tree suggestions. Andrea's not here, but she shared with me. She's written a document that takes a lot of what we learned attending some of the New Jersey community forestry programming and taking some suggestions from other towns, websites where they suggest what trees to print. I think we're going to be able to kind of come up with a web page for this document that's going to suggest, if you have a shady spot you're not looking for a canopy tree, it's going to suggest a specific type. And then I think it's going to, tailor to the right tree, right place kind of thing that we focus on here in Peninsula. And I think having a better web presence for our commission, alongside the tree inventory and some tree suggestions will make us, I think, feel a little bit more modern as a commission. Anybody else feel the same or disagree?
I agree.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Would these be links off the Borough website or your own?
No, off the Borough website, we have the Shade Tree Commission page. I'd like to then add a link within that to Andrea's document. But, Andrea said it's a rough draft. So what I'll do is I'll ask her to circulate that amongst the commission, and people can offer feedback.
Okay.
Let's see here. One thing I wanted to discuss in June was the New Jersey Community Forestry Stewardship Grant, which could have provided money for a tree inventory. However, that was due July 9th, and so we missed the deadline. However, going back to the previous comments, we seem to be in progress with a no cost solution. So grant money was not actually needed for this particular tree inventory project that we're starting. So I think that that's a better solution given our budget constraints here in town. So yeah, so hopefully that grows as we learn a little bit more about how to do inventories. And then finally, the big tree hunt results. I don't know if that was mentioned in May, but we won 3rd place in the statewide big tree hunt. Great job by the citizen who found a tree and submitted the proper forms, and the Forestry Service awarded us a 3rd place prize. So pretty happy about that. I think that's nice to be publicly recognized for conservation efforts like that. So what I have been doing now is everywhere I look in town is I'm making mental note on where the big heritage specimen trees are. And my question to the Forestry Service actually is do we need to do this for the big tree hunt only? Can we add these trees to the registry all year long? And if so, I think there's a couple suggestions that I'd have for them.
Maybe if I can just comment briefly on that. I learned when I went there for the event to receive the certificate, that this is the first year New Jersey is doing this. Apparently they noticed that at least one other state, or maybe there are more that are doing this. They thought this was a way to bring attention to the large trees in different towns, and hopefully give people the incentive to try to maintain those trees.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really worthwhile effort, and David, they're probably still learning about how they want to move it going forward, since this was the first year. So
Yeah.
probably worthwhile asking them more questions about it.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll find out, because there are 2 off the top of my head that are actually both on Hants that would be fantastic trees to document in some capacity. One of them it's behind a hedge, so it's not exactly a public tree, but it's got to be 7 feet in diameter. It's massive. It's a huge. I think it's a black oak. And then there's another one on I think it's the second house in from River. I was talking to the owner. They were told it's a 300-year-old tree, and it's easily 4 feet in diameter too. It's huge and well maintained too. So a couple. Certainly, there's going to be more in town to suggest as well. So I look forward to learning more about what they're trying to do. It's interesting. I didn't realize that was a first year effort, because the New Jersey State Forestry Inventory with these heritage trees, it does have some stuff in it already. So maybe it's still just kind of growing them. So yeah, anyway, something new for us to focus on, and to help people learn a little bit about what they have in their yard.
Yeah, definitely a worthwhile effort.
All right, let's see here. All right, just some of the updates from Bill Brooks. Talked about JCP&L. They are going to remove some locust trees at the east end of Fairhaven Fields. It's a win for us, Bill says. They are, obviously, like, in the type of shape that they would be fall over, they would be, fall down risks, and they're in the vicinity of JCP&L wires. So JCP&L will have to take them down and put the stump killer in there. $6,000 Bill estimated that saved the town for them to do it. They're going to have to move some of the bat houses, but the tree service is going to replace them somewhere appropriate. I think that the line trimming project by JCP&L is going to be done by Labor Day. Bill has noticed there are some opportunities for them to go back to certain places, and he's going to drive that with the JCP&L forester as well.
David, sorry, I'm not sure if this was mentioned in previous meetings before, but they really cut some trees in a manner that did not look very good. I'm not sure if you heard from other residents, but when JCP&L came by, and, you know, did their usual trimming, they really, cut, maybe what they needed to cut, but some of the trees look awful. So I just wanted to mention that.
I
I've heard
agree.
that from other residents as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there was some good work done, and I think there was some poor work done. And I know that you know, Bill is in direct communication with the teams from the Davy Tree Service that's working on behalf of JCP&L. I think that I have not heard directly from a lot of community citizens, but you know, maybe if my email was posted on the website or something, I would have. I'm not really sure, but I think I walk around town and I see some cuts that are pretty unappealing aesthetically, and so I don't know why JCP&L thinks that's, you know, good work done, but
I just think it's feedback that we should, you know, keep in mind and maybe provide to Bill, because I understand the work has to be done, and people in town are fed up with losing power. So we don't want to be in a situation where we have trees that are about to fall on the electric lines. But on the other hand, just, you know, it'd be nice to have well, whoever is the third party doing the job, but give some consideration to the way they're cutting the tree limbs.
yeah, no, Bill's 100% aware, and you know, he spends a lot of time kind of chasing down the crews that don't do a good job. I agree. That's a hard problem. You know, the power outages in town. I'm not gonna offer an opinion on that because I think it's a much more complicated issue than a lot of people realize. I think I know that the council spends a lot of time on that, so I'll leave that in your chambers, I guess I could say.
For sure. I mean, it's a job that needs to be done, and need to make sure that you know, any trees that are hazardous or that are too close to power lines are addressed. But, you know, it's that medium ground. You know, and at some point you need to also consider the aesthetics of how it's being done. So that's something to just keep in mind, because I happen to have noticed it directly, you know, close to my property, but I also have heard from others similar feedback. So it seems to me like it was a little bit more widespread throughout the town.
Yeah, fair point. I'm not disagreeing with you. Anybody have any other project updates they want to add?
Nope.
All right, so we should move to public participation. Christy, you want to? Do we want to?
We have Susan O'Brien still as the attendee, if she has a question.
All right, let's meet.
Okay. All right, Susan, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Ms. O'Brien.
What locust trees are they taking out of Fairhaven Fields? Where are they located?
East side of Fairhaven Fields, on the way toward the church. I don't have the specific address that they're up against though.
So are they in the natural area or near the?
Oh, I don't believe
fields?
I don't believe they're in the natural area.
Okay. I just wanted to
If you-
double check. You know, because the natural area has a meeting tomorrow night.
If you mention the bat house, there are a number of trees that have bat.
Chris,
Do you know?
breaking up a
do
little
you-
bit.
Yeah, a lot.
I think it's closer to the baseball fields, and like, what is that? Hendrickson, and what's the other one? McCarter there.
Yes.
I believe I want to say it's running from there toward the church. So
Yeah. Who
north.
put up the bat houses? Does
don't-
anybody know?
I don't know. But
I wonder
they're going to be.
I
apparently
wonder
that-
if DJ knows.
I'm under the impression that it's been escalated appropriately, but I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn on
Okay.
rec committee business. But it's generally I trust Bill Brooks to communicate effectively when he's on certain parts within certain parts of the town in certain people's kind of quote unquote jurisdiction. So I think I would hope that we're in good standing there. But I, like I said, I'm not exactly specifically sure where the trees are, but I believe it's over by the ball field, McCarter
Okay.
toward the church.
Okay. I just want to make sure that all committees and commissions coordinate with each other.
I think we try.
Well, it's not always easy. Tends to be kind of silos, you know.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm going to the rec committee meeting in August, so trying to do my part.
Okay. Okay, you answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? I don't believe there's any other attendees.
No.
All right, guys. I don't have any proposed agenda items for next week, for next month. We are going to meet again August
Fourth.
4th. That is also the same night. We're going to be doing the informal tree inventory training for the volunteer. I'm going to do that. And that meeting, by the way, will be in person, I believe, right, Christy?
Yes. If you would
So-
like it to be, it's up to your commission.
Yeah, no, I mean, does everybody feel as if we're ready to go back in person?
I'm good.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Fine by me.
Okay. I would hope that the town, and Christy, maybe you know, is there that blend of remote access to an in-person meeting, where, you know, people who can't necessarily attend or aren't comfortable in person? Is there a way for us to kind of blend Zoom and in person, or is it all or nothing?
Well, Lily can speak to this. It's, they do you know, you can go in person. We've had actually quite a crowd. There's a Facebook Live component that we're streaming from the council chambers, but that is not interactive. Someone can log on and view the meeting, but if you have a question, participation has been somewhat limited.
Right.
So that's where we're at. We're constantly looking at different technologies and, reviewing things, but as of now, that's where we're at. Different commissions are doing different things, like planning and zoning is doing one thing. So it's really how you like to do it.
Okay.
And then just to let you know, I think some feedback we heard is that it's hard to hear. So essentially I think the last council meeting we had, they were using a cell phone to do to essentially show the video for Facebook Live. I'm not sure if people could hear better. I think the first time there were problems with people hearing us. So it's not ideal. It's not like a Zoom that people can be in a Zoom and fully participate. There are some limitations right now on technology for the public.
Okay. That's a shame. Well, hopefully we get better as we progress, but I'll leave that with the town to sort out. I would be in favor of meeting in person. I think if nobody objects, let's call it an in-person meeting on the 4th.
That was good.
Excellent. All right, I believe that's all we have. Congrats to the Hance Road tree giveaway submission. Christy, please connect me with them, and we'll figure out what tree they're going to get. And thanks everybody for your participation. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second. Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thanks everybody. Thanks, Ms. O'Brien.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
You too.